Well, good evening, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for joining me this Thursday evening, Thursday, the 29th of the 1st. Can you believe it? We're at the end of a month already. End of a month. 29th of the 1st, end of a month. Have you, um, are you very intentional with your resolution? That's a big question. Are you intentional with your resolution? Have you built upon your resolution? I've always said that I don't believe in resolution. I just believe in just keep doing what you have been doing. Because sometimes we go for the revolution. We go for the resolution sometimes, and within a 2-3 week, it blows out. And then when it blows out, then we get disappointed and get dejected. But really and truly, all you got to do is just keep going and just keep going. But anyway, I want to thank you so much for coming on. And as usual, every you know Thursday, when one sort of catch up on the show, there's always lots of developments which are happening around the world. We can talk about the UK with China, visiting China, first prime minister for a long time. Developments over there with ICE. And I'm not talking the freak ice storm which was happening in the United States of America, but regarding ICE and the change. And when we look at the whole aspect of that, one look and realize there must be another way out to do these things, actually. But then there's a conflict to a certain extent with what the people voted in and what the people are getting, So that's another thing. But I want to welcome persons for coming on. Those on Instagram, those on YouTube, those on TikTok, and those on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. Yes, and Facebook. Thank you for coming on. And if you are on any of these platforms, all you got to do is just share it and subscribe as well. And we just take it as it goes, really. One of the things that I was looking at when we deal with the whole aspect of the Prime Minister's visit to China. As I said, this was one of the first visits by a British Prime Minister to China since 2018, right? Since 2018. I think before that, was it Boris? I'm not sure if it was Boris that went to China. Let me just turn off this music here. I don't know if it was Boris who actually went to China as well. As you know, China is actually, setting up this very big, super, what they call it, super embassy somewhere in London as well. And there are many question signs around it. But the Prime Minister actually was one of the first Prime Minister to visit China since 2018, making an effort to reset traditional cool ties that had deteriorated over recent years amid security, human rights, and geopolitical disagreements. The word geopolitical keep coming up a lot. And the geopolitical thing, as you know, what is happening there regarding the whole Greenland, what is happening with Venezuela, and everybody's trying to reestablish links or setting new ways forward. We talk about the things with the BRICS and as well. There are some deals also with India, and there's been a lot of deterioration over recent years amid security, human rights, and geopolitical disagreements. Starmer government emphasized boosting economic and trade ties, particularly to support UK growth by engaging with the world's second largest economy. He led a large delegation of UK businessmen and cultural leaders, I wouldn't say businessmen, business people, aimed at expanding market access and investment. And when you look at some of the images, you can see that they are working with deals. So he didn't go by himself, he came with a massive team as well. And you can see when it comes on to even with Jamaica is also having lots of deals with China. I think America is a bit upset with how things are going. But hey, I call it the UK and China Brinkmanship, if that's the right way of saying that. What do you say about that? Another thing I just want to just flag up is, before I go any further, is just linking and just flagging up this key point here, regarding the whole Jamaica issue. And as I'm Jamaican, I just want to flag up something about Cliff Hughes. Cliff Hughes is a veteran broadcaster in Jamaica, and apparently there's a health scare. People are saying he got a stroke or whatever like that, but he has come out and said that it was a health scare. He's a principal of the nationwide news network, NNN, and has recently revealed he recently experienced a health scare. However, he says the incident turned out to be minor, that he's doing well. I heard earlier of his voice, and he shared in his message on social media, thanking his medical team and well wishes, and said he hoped to speak to his audience again soon. So yeah, so that is there with Cliff Hughes, and I wish him well. I'm hoping to have Gary to come on at some point later today. And also, what was very interesting was the press conference by Kemi Badenoch, leader of the Conservative Party, where she said, "No more time for drama queen or drama persons who are trying to get on the spotlight." And she's talking about regarding the relevant defections. But there's something about the defection bit whereby people are saying that after she said that there's no more defection, you had Suella Braverman left. But what she said was defection from her cabinet. Yeah, defection from her cabinet. And I don't believe Suella Braverman was a part of the cabinet as well. So there are lots of development, and also regarding this by-election, which is supposed to be taking place very soon, where they block Andy Burnham. But hey, let's have a discussion on this a bit from now. Okay, thank you. Hey, welcome, Gary. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Dilbon. How are you?
I'm cool in the Malibu. What can I say? It's very interesting times. Just want to big up Belinda and build up Melinda as well, who is here, faithful. It's been what should I say? Each week in the UK, there's always some sort of development, and as I set out earlier, the Prime Minister is off to China on a 3-day visit. Came out saying no more melodrama, no more drama queen. Silburn walking in the park, talking to the people. The whole thing regarding Iran. They're saying it's between 6,000 to 17,000, depending on who you listen to. And Trump said time is running out. So yeah. So and also in Birmingham, I believe there's a guy named Bishop Desmond Judo. He said that we are going to be having council-tax strike. Are you going to be striking council-tax on
this? I don't know. I mean, I think there is a serious issue. There is a serious issue with the bins.
Yes.
Because they've been on strike for so long.
Yes.
And I think that yes, it does need to be highlighted, because it's public. It's a public health issue, isn't it?
Yes.
And obviously when these things happen, there will always be individuals that will get sick. Get sick. There are some that has strong resistance, but there are always a few that the resistance to what may be happening in the environment in their locality, it affects them. So the city council really needs to be careful of what's happening there.
Well, I mean, in Jamaica recently, following the hurricane, because of the influx of rats, not mice, but big rats. You know, rats big as dogs or so like that. There was a leptospirosis or something like that. So one has got to be very careful of these disease over there that can happen, because councils will have to tread very carefully and be very respectful, because one of the things about council taxes, they call it priority bill. If anybody's going through anything, there's be a priority bill sorted, and council tax is one of those priority bills. So therefore, if they're not, what should I say, returning or giving the people who are paying their council tax, delivering for that, and that's a serious issue. It's a very serious issue there. Yeah.
It is. I mean, again, what are the priorities of city councils? I know each council really has its priorities, because obviously they are different communities
Yes.
That make up the environment in which the city council may be in operation. So what is the priority of Birmingham City Council? You know, what's important to them? And I think if they're saying public health, or and then this is happening, then something is wrong. There has to be priority that they're looking at, that they're concentrating at, that they want to get right. And then, after that, there are some other priorities that then come underneath that. Obviously, it would seem that the refuge department is not one of their priorities, obviously, because if it was, then they wouldn't have allowed the strike to drag on so long.
And it's been going on for a very long time, I must say.
Yeah, it's been going on for is it over a year now? Is it a year?
I think it's maybe even a couple of years now that has been happening regarding the strike.
2 years.
Yeah, it's been, so because one of the things. Go on, sorry, Gary. Yeah.
Sorry, no, I was just going to say that, you see, as we all know, those within the West Midlands area, we all know that the West Midlands or Birmingham City Council went bankrupt. So that has a lot to do with whatever, and if the refuge department is having difficulties, what other department is next in line where issues are going to develop? I mean, there may be issues in every other department. I mean, just that they are not yet highlighted. I mean, they are selling properties. I hear that they are looking at properties to sell so as to raise money. I don't know. I mean, it's obviously there's money out there. There's money out there that they are plowing into other areas of the communities. So I don't know where they're getting the money from, or I don't know where they're spending the money. But obviously, there seems to be a finance problem.
Because Birmingham is a city, and ladies and gentlemen, just for the background, what is happening is that in Birmingham, one of the cities in the UK, in the Midlands, there's been a lack of collection of refuge, and it's going on bits and pieces. Sometimes they collect, but it is getting a bit out of hand. And I don't know, the union representing them and the council. But hey, there's an election coming up. There's an election coming up in the next few months or so, Gary. So hang on. Actually, I don't know. Is Birmingham Council having an election? I don't think so, actually. No, Gary, I don't think so.
I haven't noticed that city council has been named. I haven't really taken notes. I know there were a few others probably down south, the south of England, but I don't know much about the Birmingham City Council, if they're one of those areas that I think that they have cancelled.
Yes.
Or they're thinking of cancelling the elections. I don't know.
Okay. Well, just a segue there. Well, let's go into Keir Starmer onto China, over there, China has agreed to allow British citizens to travel to the country for up to 30 days without a visa. You know, and this is what is one of the developments there. So Sir Starmer met President Jinping in Beijing, and he became the first British leader to visit the country in 8 years. Um, this is a good thing. I mean, I believe it's very important for any leader to be traveling and meeting the world, not just America, taking the eyes off America and Greenland and all those sort of things. Isn't it right for Starmer to be? Isn't it right for Starmer to be traveling the world as well? Isn't that so?
I mean, okay. I mean, Starmer can go anywhere he wants. Kemi
Yes.
did give the impression that he shouldn't go anywhere because he's a weak leader at home, and probably he's trying to deflect here, trying to move away and give a show that he's doing the work and the business of government, and probably so. But I think he's got a lot of his image has already been tarnished. I think as a leader, as a premier, and
Yeah.
going to see the president of China or going to see the president of Russia or the US is not going to help that. I think what needs to be done where the work lasts or where the work is effective is here at home. There's a West Indian saying that says dance at
Mm.
home before you can dance abroad.
Yeah, but at the end
So
of
I
the
think
day,
it's
still,
important
mm.
to do the
Oh,
UK.
mm. But at the same time, I would tend to want to say that any leaders for their country realizing that the world is very interdependent at the same time, and because the UK is out of Europe, then therefore they have to strike deals everywhere because they're not part of this big broad church of the EU. So therefore they have got to do deals in looking after themselves, and therefore you need the prime minister to be going to different places as well. Um, I think when he didn't go to, you said it last week. You said it. He should have been in Davos, didn't you say it?
He should have been
In Davos, he didn't go to Davos.
in. Yeah, well, I mean, okay, I did say that he should have been in Davos. That's
Yes.
where he should have been. Why
Mm.
is he going to China? I mean, what is he hoping to achieve by going to Davos, which he wouldn't, by going to China,
China.
that he
Yeah.
wouldn't have got in Switzerland? I mean, I think I think he's got his priorities wrong. I really believe that he's got his priorities wrong here in this case.
So
If he
what's
didn't
so
go
what's
to Davos,
yeah. Mm.
he shouldn't go to China.
So what you're saying is that what the prime minister should be doing is staying home in the UK and do what? And I know there's the country to run, but they're bigger. Listen, Starmer's government emphasized boosting economic and trade ties, particularly to support UK growth by engaging with the world's second largest economy. He led a large delegation of UK business and cultural leaders aimed at expanding market access and investment. The visit also, they say, fits a wider trend of Western leaders engaging China amid an uncertain global landscape, including shifting dynamics with the United States and pressure to find alternative for trade and diplomacy. Because you're seeing what America is doing. Trump will get up tomorrow and feeling, hey, I tell you what I'm going to do. Let me just lick them with some more tariff. Boom. So and then UK is on their face. You know what I'm trying to say? So therefore, I agree. I'm not a great fan of Starmer, but looking at it in a way, Gary, I believe that it's very important. What do people think? Do you think that the prime minister should be going all over the place seeking deals as well? I think he's trying to secure a deal for the UK. Want to secure a deal for you, Gary? Yeah, even for you, you want to secure a deal.
Well, you're not doing it. I think there's a greater issue. There's a greater issue surrounding all of this. And I don't know if we did address it. I don't know. I can't remember addressing that in a program that you have done. But the big issue is China buying or occupying a building in the UK, which is going to be the largest UK or in Europe of that size, and where it is situated. You're talking the
super embassy, yeah, the super embassy.
Yeah, I'm talking about that. Yeah. No. I mean, why have they allowed China to do that? If you remember, still, there was an argument about what is the telephone company from a Chinese controlled?
Hawaii.
Internet or telephone?
I think it's Hawaii or something like that. Hawaii, something like that. Yeah. Which they said was taking lots of information. Yes.
It was being controlled, or it could be controlled by the communist government. Now, why did they block that? But yet they've allowed China to have a super embassy in the UK. And look where it is strategically placed. You see, I don't think that they've really properly looked at the whole situation and assessed it properly. I think it's Huawei or something like that. If they didn't allow this tech company to establish themselves in the UK, they should not allow the Chinese government to purchase or to situate themselves at a strategic point in London, the way that they have done. If buy that property, then they should, or to acquire that property, they should have allowed the Chinese tech. You see, there is too much contradictions. There's too many contradictions that the government. I don't know if that was under the Conservative Party with the tech, or it was on the Labour. But either way, government is government.
Well, I think I went 14 years of the Conservative, so therefore it was within the Conservative time, I believe. And even with the super embassy, that was starting to initiate it from the Chinese, even the island, the Chagos Island, which started to the negotiation or so started with the Conservative as well. And what China is saying is that China says that the large prominent embassy can signal China's global standing and long-term commitment to relations within the UK and Europe, part of its broader effort to project international influence. Experts and Chinese officials argue that modern diplomatic infrastructure is a normal part of international relations. The platform TikTok, which people are talking about, and have been saying that China going to have access, because I think it has changed some hands in the States, but China is going to have lots of access to people in the world based on the whole thing with China. Now with this place here, they're saying there are some blocked out areas, but at the same time, I must say that the government or the political leaders must be under the advice of MI5 and all these different persons. I don't think they would roughshod them. They must know what they're doing, Gary. There must be some sort of. I know once an embassy is on another country, it is like that country in that country. Just like when what's his name was hideout in the Ecuadorian embassy at the time, and nobody could pick him up. Julian Assange, you know. So there must be some sort of deal. There must be some sort of security aspect which has been looked at. What do you think? What do people think?
Okay, there must be, but then it's all contradictions, though, isn't it? And backhand deal. But yeah, they have everything to say about China. Look, I was watching the news earlier on, and I noticed where this famous business, is it Lai? I can't remember, this famous business guy that they have held on to, and he may be sentenced for life. His son, who lives in Hong Kong, I believe,
Yeah, something like,
is
yes.
trying to come release. Even the government is trying to obtain his relief because of what the communists are saying and what they're advocating that this gentleman should have done or did do. You see, are we really? Are we? I mean, I know everything is about diplomacy and talk, but we said so much negative about the country and about the leadership, putting in that way. We say a lot of things negative about them, but yet, knowing they're communists, knowing that their ideology is completely different from us and far, in essence, from the way how they think, more or less. But yet we allow them to place themselves in strategic places in a major city, and we have all the influence to to hinder that progress, but we don't. And a few months or a few years from now, we're going to be hearing that China is doing this, China is doing that. They shouldn't be allowed to do this. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. And then you may even hear a few saying that we should demonstrate at the Chinese embassy, but they're there. They're there already.
Well, it's not happened. It's not happened yet because opponents are preparing judicial review of the approval, arguing the decision was legally flawed and raising continued concerns about national security and local rights. Because one of the concerns or one of the contested issues that many people are raising and opposition is that the site is too close to sensitive telecom infrastructure and fiber optic cables that support London financial district and major data network. So it reminds me of this movie called Troy. I think with Brad Pitt. Is it Troy? Brad Pitt was in that movie there, and they build this horse. I think we read it in school books or so. I forget it. And then the horse was like a gift, and they say, "Hey, let's celebrate!" And they brought the gift with the horse all the way into the city. And in the horse was lots of army persons from the Troy team or something like that, and they attack because they were inside the city. And I think this is what some of the opponents are actually thinking, because the world is at a point now whereby it is very fickle, Gary. The world is very fickle, with Russia going on there, with Ukraine, with Trump giving words over to Iran, because Iran is now saying different persons are now saying 6,000 to 17,000 people may have been unalive during that shutdown, during that lockdown, during that bit, what is happening with Venezuela. So the world is on a sort of knife edge. And what they're saying is that China, with how it is strategically positioned with certain key elements, they think it's not a wise move. Critics, including opposition politicians and some allied governments, argue a mega embassy could serve as a hub for expanded political influence operations or espionage beyond what small facilities allowed. So I think personally also I sense it's a bad move, personally speaking. But one has got to trust these so-called new MI5 or new FBI. They're planning on talking about a new FBI in the UK as well. Sort of equivalent to FBI in the UK. Yeah.
There needs to be an increase of policing, really, but they're not doing that. They're not doing it. They're even cutting back. They're even cutting back on police. So I mean, you really, You see what the Conservative failed on or should have done. The Labour Party is now coming, is fulfilling what the Conservative Party failed on. What they didn't carry through, the Labour Party comes. And
yeah. So what you're sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
So what you're sort of implying is that the areas where the Conservative failed on, the Labour Party is not taking all of it and trying to fix it. They're sort of following it, and then they put the blame on, said this started by the Conservative, because just like with the Chagos Island, with you know, they're saying it's the Conservative Party who started it. Yeah.
Right.
So therefore, and you know, they're saying that it's a deal. And of course, they're no opposition to it now, because Trump has come out and said it's a flawed deal and it's a very stupid thing. He didn't call the UK government stupid or the Prime Minister stupid, but he says it's a stupid deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think a lot of these things have got to be rethink, and I think in a way with what is happening even with Labour, I believe that Starmer. I believe that Starmer is seen also, if I'm looking at it from a political perspective, going to China and going to all the different world, take the heat off him with Andy Burnham and all those sort of, you know, the election coming up down there in Manchester, because I think that the Labour Party will win that seat, maybe not with that majority which they had. The Green and the Reform is on there. I'm not confident. I'm not convinced that the Reform will take it. I think there's a lot of, what should I say? Not because I'm of a particular party leaning, but I think a lot of plaudits or lots of, you know, support or whatever is being talked about by the Reform. I don't think the Reform is going to perform very well, personally speaking, but it can. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just the past week we had how many? 3 defections? Is it 2 or 3 defections?
No, it's the same thing. It's just Robert Jenrick and Swiller. That's just Swiller.
Okay.
And
yeah,
and
but we can always say just them, Jenkins and Swiller, but it's 2 people who have left the Conservative Party, which were once in government. They held office and they've left. I mean, we can't. I don't think Silburn that we can just say, well, it's just Swiller and Jenkins.
Yes.
I think that it's a statement. As I said to you before, what's happening in the Conservative Party, my estimation, is a statement of means, I would say. I say mean only in Jeremiah. Sorry, it's only that my thoughts went in. It's it's only a statement to show that what's her name? Kemi. It's only a statement that Kemi is not wanted as leader. That, to me, that's a statement of rejection of Kemi. And because Kemi is the leader of the party, Kemi is the one that is making the bold statements of policy. She's presenting her policies. They are not in agreement with Kemi's policies. Okay? So I think that it's not that they want to leave the Conservative Party, because Reform UK is an arm of conservatism.
Yes, that's what everyone is actually saying.
Yes. So they're not rejecting the Conservatives. They are rejecting the leader of the Conservative Party. And we've said that from when she came on board, Silborn, when she came on board, we said that she had to, you and I said, and we agreed, we said that she has to watch her back, because long before all of this took place, we said that by the next general election, they do not want Kemi to lead them into that, and I will hold firm to that. And the Conservative Party doesn't look really very strong now. Doesn't look very strong now to face the Labour Party. It doesn't, because of the defections, and I think that is the statement that these people are making. Now, okay, fine. People can say that is it Jenkins?
Jenkins, but yeah.
Is it Jenkins?
Robert Jenkins.
Yeah,
Yes.
It is. Yeah.
Generic. My apologies. Generic.
Okay. Generic. It is said that he was a contender. That's fine.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with being a contender, and a strong contender for it. And that because he didn't get it, he jumped to reform. That may be a point. That may be an issue, but that's not an issue for me. Because many over the years in the Conservative Party have been ambitious to become, and they've remained.
Yeah.
But Generic has jumped ship. Why? Because of Kemi. And it's not just because of Kemi, but because Kemi is a woman. That's what we're saying. And the Conservative Party does not want to go down the same path as they did with Maggie Thatcher. Because Margaret Thatcher, who was a strong leader, everybody would agree with that.
Yes.
But when Margaret Thatcher was, and I watched something some months back on the life and the work of Margaret Thatcher. But when Margaret Thatcher went for the leadership of the Conservative Party, even she herself thought that she wouldn't get it. But she got it, and she got it only because the men of the Conservative Party wanted someone to thought that let's put her in, not so much for her to be the Prime Minister, but it is said, I don't know if there's any document, but it is said
to hold space.
There was something. Well, yes, to babysit, until someone came up and would be able to fill the position. But as it is said that they created a monster and they couldn't control her, and yes, she became formidable. I mean, I think the whole world respected her, as a leader and as a woman. She really made her mark within in the world as a strong leader. Her and Ronald Reagan and other world leaders who were around at that time. But they don't want him to be the Prime Minister. They don't want that. Don't you see it?
But can I just say to you, you just gave an analogy there about Margaret Thatcher, where they did not want Margaret Thatcher. But Margaret Thatcher became the leader and then became the Prime Minister. Are we seeing something of a similar nature then? Or is it because Kemi is black? You can call it spade a spade.
Tilborn, I think we have to look at the society that we're in.
Yes.
At the surrounding society and the society at large. I think we have to look, because everything weighs, everything has a weight on the decisions and what decisions needs to be made. Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing happens in isolation. People don't make a decision in isolation.
Yes.
In every part of society, in whatever it is, it has a bearing on decisions which are made. And Kemi which is being seen, and she's forging a way forward for
Mm.
herself. She is a woman. She's a black woman. She's one that people cannot ignore,
Yeah.
and she holds. She can hold her ground, and we
Yes.
see it every Wednesday. We see it and we hear it in her. Okay,
Mm.
so we can't take that away. These things are plain to be seen. But what we've got to also realize and understand, Silborn, is that the society in which we are in, whether anybody at all wants to admit, whether
Mm.
anybody at all wants to stand up and say the truth, we are living and we are operating in a society that is racist. It's
Okay.
inherent.
So you go to the Johnny Barnes bit where it says that
Of course.
racism is in
It's
society.
it's in football,
Very
it's in cricket, it's in
endemic.
tennis,
Mm.
it's in every area. It's in every area. It's in politics, it's in religion,
Yeah.
it's in the schools,
If
it's
if
on the
if you
streets.
if you make a if you make a
So where
comparison, go on, yeah. Mm.
no, go on. Are you going?
If you make a comparison with the UK and America, how would you make that comparison like with Barack Obama, or is America is a way ahead uh, for that? We had Rishi Sunak, but even though Rishi Sunak was a prime minister, he wasn't voted in by the country. It was through a party structure there, so he just slipped into a seat, anointed into a seat to a certain extent. But with
Okay.
Barack Obama, yeah. Mm.
I mean, let's start from where you finished. Richie
Yeah.
Sue, why did they get rid of Rishi? Why did they get rid of Rishi? When Rishi, in my estimation, Rishi was doing well. If they would have only given him a chance to
Mm.
to prove and to stabilize things and to move things forward, because he said,
Yes.
remember, you yourself even reminded those your listeners, and I
Yes.
believe the world and or the UK, that
Yeah.
what is happening is what Richie said would happen when he
Yeah.
left.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything
Richie
is happening now. Yeah. Mm.
Everything is happening now. What Richie said. Richie was honest with that. Okay, and I believe that if Richie stayed, then things. I'm not saying that things would have been hunky dory and
Mm.
100% better, but I believe that probably things would have been a little better because
Yeah.
because but because you made some points, because
Yeah.
he wasn't chosen by the country, and he
Yes.
was placed in there by his colleagues, that went
Yes.
against him. And
Mm.
secondly, he was a person of color.
Yes.
I think we've got to call a spade a spade. We have to. Now the United States, I don't know if to say if they're more ahead of us than, or I don't know, because it's the new world. They call it the new world. This here is the
Mm.
old world. So
Yeah.
whatever 250 years ago, whatever happened during the time of the old world, when they decided to go to the Americas and start again, they
Yes.
wanted to do is better there. Yeah. Now racism is very much there. I mean, we see it every day. We're hearing about it now every day. The the
Yeah.
the the difference, Silborn, and
Yeah.
anybody who has lived as long as I probably am a little older than yourself.
Yeah.
But the difference is that now, whatever happens this very second, somebody has a telephone that can record it. And
Mm.
in America, shootings, beatings, and everything that is associated with racism and violence has always been in America. Don't let anybody fool you that it's never happened or it's just happening now, where people of color and now have now been ostracized or beaten or
Yeah.
incarcerated or whatever.
Yeah.
It's only because they never had mobile phones back in those days. It's always
Yeah.
been there. That is part. Black people in America has always been under the cosh. It doesn't matter how much you legislate. It doesn't matter how much you may have a policy like affirmative action. It doesn't matter what you may put through the government. You cannot get rid of racism through political means.
Well, I think we can all agree about the bit about racism, because racism is in every aspect. Yeah, even in Jamaica, you got brown skin and dark skin. You got persons who are very successful. They go into certain areas and they feel it's stigmatizing as well. Names which I won't mention. But at the same time, America did elect a black president, 2 terms. And many people are saying that this would not, and many people are saying that this would never happen. Um, I held a 2008 function, um, when called Yes We Can Part One, and then in Yes We Can Part Two, which I showed a picture here, I was with Kemi. That was 2009, January the 20th, where I held a function in Brixton, Iroka Club, um, opposite the Tesco, Acre Lane, where we were celebrating Barack Obama being inaugurated as the president of the United States of America, because it was a big thing. So that function there was massive there, and that was Kemi was there. She was running as a prospective member of parliament for Dulwich, and another guy there, Rawl, uh he was standing for Streatham, and I was there as I hosted the event, and my capacity there was part of the shadow MP scheme with Operation Black Vote. Simon Woolley was there as well. So what I'm trying to say is that, and this is a serious discussion, and it's something we're going to pick up another time, looking at it from a UK perspective, um, because Kemi is also getting a fight to a certain extent from her own Nigerian people, and which is very vocal based on what she's saying. And she's in a fight also, according to what you allude now, from a very silent but loud voice coming through, as you can see. And you're saying people are rejecting the Conservative Party because of Kemi. That's racism. Garrett.
Silvan,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, put it like this now. Listen, if you're a conservative individual, you have run for office, and you're running for public office now. Yeah.
Yes.
If you got into the position where you got into government as an individual, you got that door was open and you went into government to serve government. And it so happened that you rose to the top where you were then elected to be the leader of the Conservative Party. Right? I know that you're not going to you would never get the majority of the Jamaican constituency in this country to vote for you. You never do it. You never get it. I mean, for our community, yes, if you're not running for the Labour Party, you're not running for anything. I've experienced that myself.
Yeah. And I pick that up as well. Yeah, go on.
So for Kemi, when we say, or when you highlight the point that there's a large Nigerian constituency that that is not for Kemi, that's not strange. It shouldn't be strange. It shouldn't, we shouldn't feel strange about that. Yeah. We shouldn't. So Kemi is doing what she's doing. She's doing the best that she can't really do more than what she's doing right now.
Yeah.
She's holding her own. Yeah, she's counter arguing everything that Starmer or what the Labour Party is presenting.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's doing very well. She's doing very well. It's only that we've got to understand that in this society, you made mention of Barack Obama. Now, listen, Barack Obama in an American society, he rose to the top fine. But I tell you, and as you may know, you can't get anywhere unless the powers that be put them there. When he got into power, the whole world would see that Barack Obama, there's two things here. One, Barack Obama did his best to do what he could do by pushing things through government, and he got blocked every which way he turned. He hardly passed anything because the Republican Party blocked him. The two terms, they blocked him. The black community now, even up until today, some of them would even say, what did he do? He never did anything for black people. So whichever way you look at it, you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
You can't win.
Yeah.
Barack Obama he himself, he's an American, even though others reject that. Especially the one that is in there now. They're saying that he forged his papers or he was somewhere else or whatever. But there are people in the United States who will argue to the point that Barack Obama is not American. Okay? But however, he got in a racist country. Now the thing about it, is that there are individuals there that's not of the colors who will support you. There's people here, Caucasians, that will support you. Not everybody now is racist, and I think it would be wrong to say that all white people are racist, because they're not. They don't have it. They will do anything that they can to support you, to make sure that you make it. They will go out there and they will knock the doors for you. They will hand out the leaflets, and they will, support you tooth and nail. And I know that. Everybody who's in their right minds will know that still.
Yes.
But that does not change the fact that within society,
UK
in and
society
around us,
in
the UK society, there are individuals who are, and it's in them. It doesn't matter what they do. Doesn't matter how they say. They can't help themselves, Silver. They can't help themselves.
Yes.
And they will not vote for you. They wouldn't. They can't give it. The only reason why they could tell you that they wouldn't put a cross against Silbo Sidiel's name is because you're black. That is all. That alone, is you haven't done anything. You haven't hurt them. You have not spoken against them. You've put on quite the opposite, but they still cannot put that cross on your name. Black. And it's a society we are in. People, black people, brown people, people of the Asian descent or West Indian descent or African descent, you've heard it, we've heard it. People, these men, these boys, these young girls walking down the road, going down, minding their own business. And what happens, Silborn? They're attacked, they're stabbed, they're killed. It's not because they were in the wrong place. Well, yeah, it could be that they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. But it's because they're hated or because of the color that they are. These things, Silborn, they are
so
to be
yeah. However, but what you're saying still, you're not actually discouraging persons from stepping up to the plate. Because when one listens, sometimes one can say, well, it doesn't make sense. A person will be listening and say, well, this doesn't make sense. I go any further because I'm just going to get that. I think that more people need to come out, more people of color, more people of ethnic minority or BMA need to put themselves forward and flood the place at the same time. That doesn't mean to say it's going to take out certain things out of society, but at the same time, it is to start to own certain things within society at the same time. Because I believe that just like how many were saying Barack Obama would never be the president of America, I believe that it is not impossible for someone who is black to go through the ranks and to be voted in by this country, not somebody who is selected. You know, it's like David Lammy, for argument's sake. David Lammy is the deputy prime minister. If anything happened to Keir Starmer, he'll be the prime minister, but he's not the one voted in by the government, by the people. And of course, he may put himself forward and try to get selected to be a prime minister. Because what you're seeing certain doors being pushed. You're seeing Richard Sunak, which has been there. You have seen the Home Secretary. You have seen the shifting of certain guards where persons are being placed in certain positions. So eventually, it must happen against the odds, and yes, with the structure. So one has got to have a tough skin, Gar.
Yes. I mean, all those things are correct. So I think, you see, yes, I'm not saying I wouldn't want anybody to go and say, well, it doesn't make sense. Me as a black man or me as a black woman, waste time because I'm not going to. Yeah. I mean, no, I believe that we should try. What we should do is try, and the community that we are from and which we represent, we should support that individual.
Yeah.
We should support that individual. You mentioned David Lammy in the Labour Party and Abbott in the Labour Party. You've got in the Conservative Party, you have Dawn Butler.
No, I was mentioning Dawn Butler, but she's from the Labour. I was referring to Dawn Butler, but she's from the Labour Party.
She's Labour.
Yeah.
But you have two other. You have two men that were in the Conservative Party who held high office. 2 or 3 black men who held.
Kwame, which nobody wants to hear about because of the Liz Truss factor there, you know. But you got other persons who are in, you know, one of the things that I've learned, and I think it's a learning thing for me, even when I'm out there talking to persons. I never forget a lady that I met, and she said somebody from Jamaica sent her my details, say I'm running for the mayor, and she said she was concerned. I wanted to understand when she saw Conservative, and she wanted to understand me a bit more. And after I had a long chat with her, She said, I really want to invite you to speak to my family because the way I'm breaking it down, she said, a lot of education is not in the community because people act, because for argument's sake, people will say, well, I'm always a labor, I'm always a labor. And they say, well, what the labor is doing for you? Or what's happening? Are you happy with this? And they say, no. So why labor? And they say, because my parents or whatever like that. And I say, think it through properly. Go through it on a policy level. And I'm not saying to go for a conservative or whatever like that, or to go for a green or go for reform. Look at the policies and look at what is it that you need to do and vote accordingly. You know, and especially, of course, you know, when one vote for MP, one vote for MP, which is good for the area. But at the same time, one has got to recognize that the MP actually subscribed to a bigger picture of the leadership of the party. But Robert Jenrick said when he was voted in for his seat, he was voted in because of him, because of his defection. So Suella Braverman jumped ship. She's defected. Robert Jenrick jumped ship because he defected. The other guy jumped ship, defected. Now, the people that voted for them, but because they are aligned to a particular party or particular policy. So now people are now getting a bit and saying, hang on a second, there's no sort of loyalty. The point I'm trying to say is that people will now have to really scrutinize when they vote for people now, because the game has changed to a certain extent. Because when you look at things sometimes, you realize that, hang on a second, what's the difference then between conservative and Labour? When Tony Blair was the prime minister, they said it was very difficult to get him out because it was like a conservative leader leading a Labour Party. Reform now, having all the persons who are defected to from the conservative. Now people are saying it's now the reform of the retarded, or reform of the conservative to a certain extent, right? And now green now, which was so really green, is really becoming really leftist. You know what I mean? Seriously, and the Lib Dem is now caught in the middle now. So people are actually saying they're homeless now. And Jeremy Corbyn is in the wings there with his show, with his thing. And there's also another party called Advance. So people now have to sort of be very scrutinizing things. And hence the reason why there's a lot of apathy. And that's the reason why what I'm doing as much as possible is talking to people and having a conversation. But of course, you're not going to get that and use the social media guy. It's a very interesting and a dynamic thing at this time, I must say. Very interesting and dynamic, especially how politics is now. It's not the same as how it was with the Margaret Thatcher, with the Reagans, with the Kissinger, with those guys. That has gone. It's a new way of politics now.
Yeah, it's a new generation now. And we see that in the way how Europe now is operating. We're seeing that now how the US's or the United States attitude to Europe, it has completely changed. And the European attitude to the US and to the policy in which US now is advocating is totally being scrutinized. They're not following the US as they used to before. Europe now is forging their own foreign policy, and it's kind of frightening to see the way how Europe and the rest of the world now is
operating,
is I would say posturing, because they're now having to think for themselves. They're now having to even learn how to defend themselves. They're now going down a path that they've never, since World War II, they've never had to walk this road and behave the way how they're behaving now. So it's a new way of life for everybody in the whole world.
Yes. It's a paradigm shift when it comes on to politics now at the same time, because when it's going to be, this election is going to be very interesting. What is going to be very interesting is going to see the turnout of persons, what the turnout of persons is going to be, And that professor guy that always comes on, he's gonna have he's gonna have his hand full of trying to analyze the whole thing. Even in Louis Shamir, even with the outcome of this election, because he's like a labor turf, but people are unhappy with how the council is run. But are they sometimes willing to risk going another way? You know what I'm trying to say? And that's the thing. And it's the reason why you just have to be out there and just talk to people and let the chips fall where it falls. You know, and that's a very interesting bit. Yeah. Well, Gary, I think it was a good discussion, but I think we're gonna take it up another time. And a colleague which I see on TikTok, Jennifer, actually she mentioned this point here that excellent talk to people, let them get to know you, and the fact that you'll hear them. You know, one of the things that I find out, is I put a couple of videos on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and I'm seeing people coming out of the woodwork and speaking and sharing, even if it is something negative or whatever like that. But I have to take it that it is their truth or it is their issue, and a lot of them coming out, they are Caucasians. I'm trying to say, very interested in what is happening, very concerned about what is happening. What will you do? How can you do it? You can't do anything because the mayor of London and blah blah blah. This area is blah blah blah, and all I do is just respond instead of avoiding them, because you can't just avoid them. But I just respond and say, thank you so much for your comment, and it is appreciated. Let us see if we can partner and make it better. Let us see if we can do something. I try to come alongside them instead of trying to rebuff them. Like someone said to me one time, I said, hi, I'm in Catford running for the mayor of Lewisham. And I said, do you mean Crackford? They said, Crackford, And I said, okay. And they started to explain a lot of things. And I took it and I said, well, thank you for that. And it's a concern, yes. But I couldn't go and try to, what should I say, pretty it up, making it nice, or trying to avoid the fact of certain things which are happening. Because they say you can never fix something which is broken unless you acknowledge the fact that it's broken. You know what I'm trying to say? And if you listen to Sadiq Khan, as so Sadiq Khan operates at City Hall, you'll understand why London is like this. He never acknowledged certain things. He goes around in circles and stuff like that. I don't know how people still bring that man in, but at the same time, I must say this: it is not just Sadiq Khan. It's not just one man making these decisions. There's a power force behind it. Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, any last word, Sir Gary?
Well, I just want to let the people know that just to remind them that you're running for mayor of Lewisham.
Yes.
And that we get behind him. Those who can't get behind him, you pray for him.
Yes.
And just let the vote do the talking. Let the vote do the talking. All right.
Let the vote do the talking. Yes. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, everyone, for coming on tonight. Much appreciated. And next week, Tuesday night, I'll be having a town hall meeting on Teams. I'll put that out for persons interested in listening to the vision and the manifesto for Lewisham with the team as well. So we're going to put that out as well. So that's next week, Tuesday at 7 o'clock as well for the campaign. Yep. Cool. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Share, like, and everything. And have a great night. Have a fantastic night. And have a great and fantastic life. Okay? Cheers. Okay. All right, Gary, have a good night, yeah?
God bless you. Take care, yes.
God bless you. Bye-bye. Bye.